Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Sunday.
I miss you, as always.
This will be our last video. So we've enjoyed doing this, but we're really looking forward to getting back together in person. As you may have seen in the last email we sent out, we're going to start having service again next Sunday, June 14th. And the state's finally put out some guidelines on how churches can start gathering again, up to 50 people. And so basically the details of that are that we can have up to 50 people in our chapel and up to 10 people in each accessory room, side room, like Sunday school rooms and so on and so forth. And we recognize that there are certain guidelines as well. For example, they're asking everybody 2 years and older to wear masks, families to stay 6 feet apart, very similar to what you see everywhere else. Realistically, we know that it's very easy to do that for people to stay far apart in the chapel, where it's quite spacious in there, and but we also realize that in the dining room and Sunday school rooms, that's a little bit of an unrealistic expectation, and we know that for some of you, the social distancing and minimizing risk is really, really important for your family or for your health. You're high risk or many different reasons. And we basically recommend that it might be too soon for you to start coming back to church at this point, because we just can't guarantee that level of safety or that level of precaution.
Or just come to service and not lunch.
Oh, yeah. That's another good option as well. So, we're not going to try really hard to enforce the guidelines. I think it would just be very, very difficult for us. But it's totally possible to come to service and and go home. And I think you would have a really great experience. And we're really hoping to get kicked off with a great start. It's been almost 3 months, and we know that many of you are really itching to come back to church. You want to see each other, and so we are excited about being able to do that again.
So we just encourage you to do what you can do to be responsible for your own health and other people's health, and do what you feel comfortable with coming to church.
Yep.
Along with that, we also are going to be able to we think we're going to be able to have our family camp this summer. So that's the last weekend in July, from the 25th to the 28th. And we'll be sending out an email registration, and it's going to be first come, first serve. We probably should be able to have up to 50 people. So just know that that's going to be coming out. And if you really want to come, you got to jump on it.
And hopefully we'll be able to have more, but since they're starting to open up gatherings of up to 50, we feel pretty confident that at least we'll be able to have 50 people come to the family camp, if not more. I'd also like to mention that Lonestar, the virtual camp, they're really working hard to prepare some great content, music, activities, and because the camp will be virtual, the cost is very, very low compared to before, which may allow more people to participate than could have in the past. So please check your emails for Camp Lonestar information, registration, details, video, these kind of things that you'll be getting or have already gotten.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, I want to share a message for this week, and something that I've had a lot of things moving around in my heart and my mind the last week, quite a week for me. I think it's probably been quite a week for all of us. And I put a lot of that down in my recent Facebook post, so I'm not going to be sharing about that today. So I want to share something that's happened to me since then. An elderly black lady from my church in St. Louis who was my Sunday school teacher when I was a kid, maybe 8, 9 years old. And her husband was my pastor for the first few years when I moved to Missouri. She was actually one of the first church members in Missouri. She joined back in the 60s. I'll have to check with her to find out when that was. But she was always so uplifting, so kind, and I love and adore her. And she commented on my post. And with her permission, I'm going to share what she said. She said, "Adonia, my heart has been bleeding for my people, my husband and especially my sons, for many, many years. No one seemed to care. I can see our Heavenly Parent working for their black children now. Thank you for your awesome article. I'll love you forever." So what immediately jumped out at me was this simple line: no one seemed to care. And just to clarify, she is not the complaining, attention-seeking, pouty type of person, like, oh, nobody cares about me. If there's anybody who should care, shouldn't it be her church community? Okay, I'm telling you, everybody loves Aunt Erlise, okay? She's like a beloved rock of our St. Louis church community. We care about her. But I had to ask myself, did we care about something that her heart was bleeding for? I can personally confess that I had never spent much time considering if she felt discriminated against in her life or inside or outside of our church. And I can certainly say that I never worried about the safety of her sons. So I've been repentful this week. I realized that growing up in this church, which the highlight of is our interracial, intercultural marriages, I felt it was kind of obvious that we aren't racist and that we love everybody. Like, this is what our church is all about, one family under God. And this ideal is brilliant and it is revolutionary, and it comes from the heart of our true parents who understand the heart of God. However, I also realize that just because I'm part of this movement, just because we are a part of this movement, we also know this doesn't automatically mean that we are perfect or that we perfectly represent God's heart to people. We know we have to do the work, right? And I always remember my mom saying that restoration is a messy process. So my friend wrote this about the situation that we're facing today and restoration, and I wanted to share it with you. There is a reason why the divine principle lists out sin separately. And I think we'd all agree that our country is suffering because of a collective sin. It is important to not only acknowledge, but to fully educate ourselves on the collective history of not only those of us in our lifetime, but our ancestors. Because as we know, the providence of restoration, and she quotes the divine principle from Resurrection, chapter 2, section 3:3. The providence of restoration cannot graduate to a new sphere of benefit unless we first make some condition of indemnity to remove the sins of the past. When we don't acknowledge the collective sin of America in how our black brothers and sisters were mistreated, then racism is perpetuated. When we ignore our black brothers and sisters' cries for help, and we try to compare them to any other person or group who has suffered, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to indemnify this specific collective sin. As it relates to the sins that were committed against our black brothers and sisters. And when we ignore the opportunity for collective indemnity, we halt the process of restoration. And we will never, as Reverend Dunkley said in his statement, get to the root of the problem, which is our disconnect from God. So, thinking that I'm okay, I'm a good person, it's actually a kind of a dangerous place to be, because that is living in the comfort zone. If I think I'm good, I'm okay, then I'm basically also saying that I'm not interested in growth right now. If I think I'm okay, then I might be automatically dismissing anything that makes me uncomfortable, even if it is for my own good. So if the events of the past 2 weeks have made you uncomfortable, I encourage you not to just try to get comfortable again. I confess that is my automatic, the place that I go to. I like to feel peaceful. I like to feel that things are right with the world. And I kind of do that to protect that feeling in myself, even if things are not peaceful or right with the world. But when we are uncomfortable is the best opportunity to look at ourselves and ask, why am I uncomfortable with this? What in me is being challenged by this? And is there something for me to address? Maybe there's some pride for me to let go of. Maybe there's someone for me to forgive. And also, is there some action I should take? This is why peace starts with me. We all have to do this work in our own hearts. This is my daughter on the trapeze. We all have to do this work in our own hearts. And we can't force it on others. If you find that you are judging somebody for their comments on Facebook, I just encourage you to take the log out of your own eye first. We can't force it on others. We all have to do this work in our own hearts. And this applies in every situation. In our own interracial marriages that we have right now, with our children, in society. And later I want to talk more about getting out of our comfort zone, acknowledging when we're uncomfortable, and recognizing how peace starts with me. But I am talking about this today because I believe that as a country, we are being presented with an opportunity to indemnify the collective sin of America against our Black brothers and sisters. So let's listen and let's love. And I'm talking about the love is a verb kind of love. That's all I really have to say today. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Parent, good morning. We love you. Thank you so much for all of your continuous love and patience with all of us, your children. Heavenly Parent, I just pray that today we can look at ourselves and think how we can comfort your heart. Rather than just loving you and saying that we love you and worship you, we can think about where has your heart been bleeding? What is concerning to your heart? And what can I do? Where do I fit in this picture? And in the same way, if we look at our brothers and sisters and we see that their hearts are bleeding for something, I pray that we will not just tell them we love them, but we will find a way to be responsible and take action in love for them, Heavenly Parent. We know that this is not an easy time to be in, but Heavenly Parent, I truly believe that you are working across America and across the world. You are constantly working to lift all of us up, and we maybe didn't see how you were leading us to this point. But I pray that we can accept it and that we can be grateful for the opportunities that we're presented with, Heavenly Parent. I just want to offer this message, offer this week to you, and I pray this in my name, Pastor Adonia Hendrick, blessed your family, adieu. That's it for this week, everybody, but we're super excited to see you again in person, and also we'll continue to video our messages so that if you don't come to church, that you'll be able to see them as well.
Yep.
That's it. We love you.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.